Hello, and welcome to Charts and Hearts. I'm Sarah, and she's Lindsay.
And together we're working our way through an epic list of rom-coms in order to find and categorize tropes in the hopes of creating the nerdiest spreadsheet podcasts I've ever seen.
And today we are continuing EGOT month with Dreamgirls.
Had you seen this before?
I think so, but I'm not actually sure. Once I watched it, I was like, have I seen this, or I just assumed I'd seen it?
Yeah. I hadn't seen it. I only know the songs from Glee.
Yeah. Yeah, like there was lots of songs that I didn't know. Didn't realize that Eddie Murphy was in it.
No, me either.
So, yeah. So we're doing this because this is the O in Jennifer Hudson's EGOT.
Yeah, so it's not a rom-com. We'll say that up front. But that's okay. She is incredible in this movie. And
she's amazing.
This is her debut, and she won an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say she's on par with Alan Rickman as best debut, who also should have won an Oscar and was robbed for his first movie. But anyway, let's go back to Jennifer Hudson. So she got an Oscar for Dreamgirls, and she has a few Grammys, as you would expect. Also, she was on the soundtrack for the new A Color Purple, and that's one of them. She has a bunch of daytime Emmys for her show, and she was a producer of A Strange Loop, which is where she got her Tony in 2022. Yeah. And she also has, as we said, with Whoopi Goldberg, she also has NAACP awards, and she has a ton of other awards because she's amazing. Indeed. And I was watching this and being like, remember how she lost American Idol?
Right?
Because the phones weren't working.
Yeah, basically. It's like the biggest scandal. Yeah.
But I'm very glad she's doing so well in her life.
Yeah, so this movie was nominated for a whole bunch of Oscars in addition. So Jennifer Hudson won Best Actress in a Supporting Role, and then also it won for Best Achievement in Sound Mixing. But then also Eddie Murphy was nominated for Supporting Actor. It was nominated for Art Direction, Costume Design, and a bunch of basically all the original songs, like the songs in this that weren't in
the musical.
The musical were nominated. And then it also there was some like Oscars cheer moment in 2022. I don't really know what that is, but in 2022 it got some Oscars cheer moment of Effie singing. I'm telling you.
Sure.
I don't really understand.
No, but it does have, I think it's the record holder for most nominations, but not getting a Best Picture nomination.
Yeah, it had the most nominations that year, but didn't get Best Picture, or Director, or like any of the big acting awards.
Yeah, the big
just
acting
two
awards,
supporting acting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Eddie Murphy did get the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor. He was really good in this.
Very good.
And he hadn't been in a movie for like 10 years. So,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, honestly, like, the performances in this are outstanding. Like, when Beyoncé, like, is the least good person.
Incredible. Yeah, I know.
But she's still amazing. Like,
yeah. Like, it's so weird because thinking about the aughts, or is a weird time anyway, but like, remember when it was 20 years ago and Beyonce was that? Like, I just saw somebody do a post of wonderment just finding out that Beyonce was in a girl group, and then everybody on Threads was like, and now I've died of old age.
Of old age, pretty much.
But like, remember when she was in Goldmember, and then she was in this, and then she was like, nah, I think I'll not.
Yeah, I think I'll just go be
Beyonce
instead. Yeah.
We are also recording this like 4 days after she won Album of the Year, so yay!
Yeah, amazing. So yeah, huge Beyonce fan. Also, like, Danny Glover is just I love him so much. I don't know, just anything that Danny Glover's in, just
he's really great.
Makes me happy.
Makes me want to watch Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I'd kind of forgotten about Jamie Foxx. To be honest.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, just in general.
Yeah,
you know what's
like in general.
Weird is that he was singing in this, and I was like, the biggest part about him singing in this is like, and it's probably partially due to the nature of the songs, is that he doesn't really move his mouth a lot. So I was like, is he doing this as acting, or like, I'm hesitant to whatever, or is he that's just how he sings, or is he lip syncing? So he sang in this, but he
Yeah.
lip synced through all of Ray.
No, he sang some in Ray.
Some in Ray. It's like
yeah, but mostly not.
It's like
Yeah.
Natalie Portman in Black Swan. Like, I danced in it, but you
No,
know,
like he sang some of the actual songs. It was more about the song, not like some parts of the songs.
some parts. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I think
but he sang in
maybe-
this, but I don't know if he
Yeah.
just isn't used to lip syncing. Like, I guess they didn't sing live. Like, obviously
Yeah,
they
no,
didn't
they
sing
wouldn't have
live
sung live.
and recorded, but I guess he wasn't used to sing acting. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah,
when
it was
you-
the sing acting was underwhelming. His
Yeah.
overall performance was really good, but when he was singing, it felt a
It
little
felt
flat.
weird, and it was because his rest of his performance was so good. I was like, is
Yeah.
this plot, or do you just not know how to do this?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
well,
For
and
sure.
that
And
also
then-
goes into the I don't understand how this works, the musical rules of this movie, because it's very similar to Glee, where they sing songs as singers.
Yeah, as singers. Yeah,
Then they sing their feelings, and sometimes people hear them, and sometimes they don't.
yeah.
Like, sometimes they're
sometimes-
like, you're singing your feelings to me, and I hear you, and sometimes you're singing your feelings to me, and it's in slow-mo, so therefore I don't hear you.
Yeah, it was hard to follow who
Yeah.
knew what at
Who
some
knew
points,
what?
like emotionally. Yeah, and then because also sometimes they would be singing their feelings, and then it would also turn into a recorded song or a performed
Yeah,
song.
exactly, yeah.
So it was like, oh, maybe it's like they're singing their feelings, aka they're writing the song. Except that
yeah,
in this, apparently the women in this movie had nothing to do with
nothing
anything to do with their
anything.
careers. But we'll
and
get
like,
there.
yeah. And the best example of that is Listen, which was an original song for this. So
Yeah.
it's Beyonce at the end, and she's figured out that Jamie Foxx is a bad man. And so she's singing this amazing breakup song
Yeah,
as she is recording it, and he's watching her record it, but she's singing it to him, and he's like, can tell that she's using it to break up with him. But
the performance she's giving isn't the performance that he's seeing.
yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
like, it's very confusing, and I'm like, does she write this song? Because she never wrote any other songs, and anyway.
Yeah, I would like to see.
I like
this
it when
on
musicals make
stage.
more sense musically.
I'd like to see it on stage to see if it is the movie.
Made more sense? Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
a movie. I did want to say, going back to the summer, Cheryl Lee Ralph was the original Dina.
I know.
And she's amazing, as we all know.
Indeed. I know. There like so many different people were in the musical over the years also because it ran, it's been on since like what, the 70s or something?
Yeah, and his name, he's got this really fun name. It's like Oba something, and then something with a B was in it. I think he played the Jamie Foxx role, and he is the super fun concierge guy from That Thing You Do.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I think he's a really big Broadway star. But
Yeah. That's cool. And I guess we haven't, the main other person we haven't talked about is Annika Noni Rose, who
Yes.
you might know better as Princess Tiana, for example.
Yes.
And also
And
a million other things.
I was trying to figure out where I know her face from. I went through her entire IMDb, and she's been in a million things.
Yeah.
So I never figured it out.
I'm not
But
sure
you know
either.
who else is in this? First, Urkel, whose name I really know, but I completely forgotten right now. Jamil
something. Yeah.
Jamil White.
Yeah.
He's there for like 5 seconds, which is
Yep.
fun. And then, you know who else is there for 5 seconds? John Krasinski, because it's
Krasinski.
the aughts. And,
And
that's
also,
how this works. John Leguizamo.
No.
John...
Shoot.
Not
in there.
Larroquette. Fuck.
No, it is John Larroquette.
John
Was
Larroquette.
it?
No, that's Night Court guy. John
Lithgow.
Lithgow. There's too many of them.
And then also everybody's favorite dancing demon from Buffy, Hidden Battle.
Hidden Battle.
He plays the Jamie Foxx's assistant at the end. Yeah. And like it's interesting. So basically, the premise of this is it's essentially Diana Ross and the Supremes, but like lots of differences. But as it goes through, like, and maybe it's also just that I don't know as much about Diana Ross from the 50s and 60s, or I guess 60s, as I do about more later, like disco and past Diana Ross. But like Beyonce, who plays the sort of Diana Ross character, like becomes more and more and more and more like Diana Ross-esque in terms of especially her hair and her clothes. Like, it was very cool.
Yeah, her makeup journey is incredible because, again,
amazing.
This is 20 years ago. I don't know Beyonce's age, and it doesn't matter. So she's young.
45.
Yeah. So she's young in this movie. She's 25. And so they start her with no makeup. And when I saw her first, I was like, wow, that's pretty intense because also what I know of Dreamgirls is her at the front. And I was like, that seems weird. But anyway, so they start her with no makeup, and her makeup gradually gets strong, like bigger and bigger. And by that, I mean like eyeshadow, eyeliner, fake eyelashes, and then goes like insane. Her fake eyelashes at the end are like out of control.
They look terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's an amazing way to subtly show her character. Like, I don't want to say character growth because there's not great character work.
No, but
in
just
this movie.
like you know at a glance at any moment of looking at her exactly when it is.
Yes. Yeah, and the changes of her life and status. Let's say status.
Status and status
and then,
journey.
Yeah, status journey. And then at the end, when she breaks up with him and they're having a fight at their house, she's packing her suitcase, she's wearing no makeup again. And it's incredibly well done to showcase, like, she's still a young person. She's vulnerable at this time. She's actually taking charge of her life for the first time.
But she looks so, like, she also, even though it's still the same, like, no makeup, she looks so different. Like, she's been through it.
Yeah, she's been through it. She's obviously taking charge of her style in general. But she has the power now to leave him. When at the beginning, when she was no makeup, she was just, like, coyly smiling at him in the corner. Yeah,
and was just like very meek, and you know, like she was late to their first performance because her mom didn't want her to go out at night and stuff. No, it was amazing. I had this note too, but from Lindsay was like the mix of things that were real and things that were referenced. So like the Beatles exist in this universe,
and
but
Elvis
then Elvis, but the Jackson 5 is like anonymized. It's, you know, there's a sort of Michael Jackson-esque Jackson 5.
Yeah, they're not trying to hide it. Like, obviously they're not trying to hide the Supremes, but they're really not trying to hide the Jackson 5. Like, it's... Yeah, and
that song is exactly, like, 3 different Jackson 5 songs with different words. Which, and maybe it also sort of is more about the people they, like, you heard about versus saw.
Yeah.
So like, you heard about the Beatles, but you saw the Jackson 5.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
And about Elvis.
Yeah, and Michael Jackson and Diana Ross have a very close relationship, so that's probably part of it, especially when it came to, I don't know what kind of rights you need when you make something like this that is I think it's storyline, but it's not. Yeah,
I think if they just referenced him or the Jackson 5, again, like they maybe would have had to clear it, but because they were characters in it, then I think they would need to do be a lot more different. Yeah. I am glad also that this movie got nominated for costumes in the
Academy the costumes Awards, are incredible.
The like variety of costumes in this, from the like incredibly fancy and the super like wealthy costumes, you know, when they're like at the peak of things, both their costumes and just their day-to-day clothing, but then also like Effie after she's left the band and she's like on welfare, her costumes, and then sort of her rebirth into that was so well done, and the eras, and there was costume growth and change for everybody on so many levels or like directions. And also the wigs.
Yes, the wigs were also incredible.
Both the like in-universe wigs when the characters were wearing wigs, and then also
just in general,
just like their various wigs, because people can't grow that much hair in the length of a movie. And then especially for like the first half when it is like the Dreamettes and the
the Effie show
before Beyonce, like Dina, becomes made the lead singer, is like we're supposed to be not believe that Beyonce is a good singer and a good performer and like is just a pretty face, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, obviously she's not the same caliber of singer as Jennifer Hudson.
No, they're very different people.
Very different styles.
Singing types. And, like, not that they couldn't sing the same song, but if they sang the same song, even like the national anthem or anything, it would be a different way of singing. They have different,
totally different
skills
style.
and octaves probably.
And just different skills. Like, I think, it's like the belting versus the sort of overall, like, watchability and performance. Yeah. I don't know. It's just...
I think the fact that they have it in their movie, like, twice.
Yeah.
At the beginning when he's like, he says whatever, and then at the end when they're having a fight and he's like, you are nothing. You don't even have a good voice. You're just a pretty face. And I was like, at that point, it's been 10 years and she's had like, I don't know how many albums that are platinum are supposed to be and all of this stuff. And I'm like, you're still saying that? That seems like a weird thing to say in story, but also probably to anybody playing Dina ever. But also like, I know it's 2006, but you're saying that to Beyonce. And I think that the Hive has something to say to you.
Indeed. Any other observations before we move on to tropes?
wasn't a huge fan of this movie.
I wish it was a lot shorter.
Yes, I think that's a lot of it. It's really long.
Too long. Yeah.
And a lot of the musically songs were lame.
Yeah, I think honestly, I'm not a huge fan of any of the songs that they added to the movie.
No, like Listen is good because Beyonce is good at singing torch songs or whatever that song
whatever that song is. But like the Patience one was dumb.
And they like the I'm going to sing my feelings and whether or not you can hear me ? All of those songs. I was just like, what if we just moved on? And you didn't sing 3 verses and nothing changed except that you sang this song. That's basically
yeah. There wasn't enough like transition or growth through a lot of songs.
Exactly. Like if you're going to have a very long musical movie that has a lot of singing about feelings, then it needs to be a musical that doesn't also have talking, like Les Mis or something, right? Like you need to you can't have both. It's too many things. And also then people and then talking and then people singing as plot as well. There's too many things happening and the music is all over the place. Like obviously styles change because that's of the changing time, but like there's the singing,
the role of music
the role of music changes, and then it's just like Jamie Foxx kind of moving his mouth singing a song while beautiful photos of Beyonce go past, and I'm like, why are we doing this? What if the movie was over? I already knew he was a shitty guy. Meandering. So anyway,
he does play an asshole very well. Okay, so tropes. Start off with montages because really there's so many montages.
There's so many montages in this movie. Like I know we say that a lot, but this is intense.
Yeah,
even for a musical.
Long, so therefore there are so many.
Yes. I was trying to like figure out if there was going to be a thing about a guy being sleazy and then them ending up with good guys, but they don't really.
No.
I guess third girl.
Yeah, who ends up with the brother, right?
Yeah, the spare girl ends up with the brother, and he is as decent as they get, although I'm still not a huge fan of him.
Yeah, no, like he totally screws over his sister for
and then it's like, I sent you money, but I was like, but she's living with your dad. You could have gone back literally at any time.
Or like apologized.
Yeah. Or done some kind of thing about contracts and stuff, which is another question I have. But anyway.
Yeah.
So all the guys are sleazy.
Yeah, all the guys are sleazy. Those the other thing is like there's this mob plot, but I don't really understand it.
No, me either. Like I couldn't follow it, and then there was some other conversations about contracts and the whole thing about like I know this is how it worked. Like the brother wrote the songs and it didn't matter who he wrote them for. Jamie Foxx owned them. Yeah. Which, like, I understand, but also, why didn't the brother figure that out? Like, he's so mad that Jamie Foxx took the song, and I was like, but you are still under contract. That's your job.
It was work product, not your own song. Yeah.
So, that felt weird to me, and then, there was a lot of stuff of, like, you can't leave because you're under contract, and all of this kind of stuff, and I'm like, it's the 70s, he's very sleazy, there's mobs involved, and it's a musical, so I'm sure it's over dramatized, but I'm like, this feels weird.
Yeah. I guess Danny Glover wasn't sleazy.
No, he was fine.
Yeah.
He was not, like, although romantic guys were sleazy.
Yeah. Basically. Okay, and then, we've got the Forrest Gump trope of inserting them into various real photos which is always fun.
Yep. There's some fun Beatles Photoshop in there. A huge plot of this movie is fat shaming.
Yeah.
Which
that,
is,
like, Jennifer Hudson can't be the lead singer because she's fat.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Which, like, hello? Have you seen her? She's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, and then, of course, we have the amazing, always delightful trope of, I don't feel well. Oh, oops, there was a baby. I was pregnant.
Yeah. Such a weird storyline. So, like, the beginning part of it is fine. It's, I don't feel well, and I'm like, and she goes to the doctor, and I'm like, oh, well, she's obviously pregnant. Everybody knows how movies work. But then she doesn't tell him, and that's fine. And then at the end, he sees the little girl, and he goes down and stands 2 feet from her and just stares at her.
I know, it's super creepy.
And the little girl doesn't notice, and Jennifer Hudson, who's been staring at the little girl from stage, also doesn't notice, and then the movie ends, and nothing comes of it. I'm like, weird. What? Anyway.
I don't know. Well, so this is, like, I think the main part that is very different from real life, because Diana Ross was in a relationship with the sort of Motown record label guy, like Jamie Foxx's character. And she got pregnant from him, but then, like, 2 months later married somebody else who, like, knew that the baby wasn't his and was fine with it, and, like, raised the kid as his own, and they had, like, many other kids together. So so very different, but I mean, obviously, because they were trying to make a movie and not a fic
story.
Okay, any other tropes? I think that was all I had.
I think that's all.
Okay, Lindsay, does this movie pass the Bechdel test?
Like, technically, at the beginning, literally at the very beginning, before they meet any men, it passes the Bechdel test. But for a movie called Dreamgirls, basically about Diana Ross, one of the most powerful, successful women in music ever, this movie is all about men. Nobody really has any character or, like, motivation, except Jamie Foxx wants money and he's evil for reasons nobody understands. And everybody else just goes along with it. With they're like, oh, you're so rude, and then just keeps doing it.
Well, like, so Jamie Lee Fox, like, really all the three sort of main guys, like, Jamie Foxx, and the brother, and the singer,
Eddie Murphy.
They are the only people that actually have agency in this, other than Effie, like, blowing up her life and leaving the band. But otherwise, like, the only sort of the driving of the story is all actions from the male characters.
And Dina and the other 2 women in Dreamgirls, in the dreams, have no growth or agency at all. And then at the end, Dina finds the papers and the stuff about, if she didn't know that the song was a cover, which seems weird because it was on the radio.
Well, I think it was on, like, local radio, not
but it's
LA
just
radio,
like she's just nothing. Like, she doesn't even know the word agency until the end when she breaks into her husband's stuff.
She tried, and, you know, obviously it's like an abusive relationship, but it's more like, I think you can show that and still have the women, like, making choices even about their day to day, but, like, they're just along for the ride. And I had no idea that there was so much plot in this that was about, like, Eddie Murphy's character, for example, other than just him, like, how they, like, as the start, like, I didn't assume that he would be in it for most of the movie.
No, me either. He does in the musical. You don't see him after he gets dropped from the tour.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, like, the whole thing with the new song, like you said, and then all of his stuff, like having the affair with the woman and then dying, all of that is movie, which that makes more sense. So and also sense. Like Eddie Murphy, like, making a better, like, I don't know what the order was, but, like, that kind of fits of, like, building a bigger character for him.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But
so it passes, but
but, like, even the biggest song, the song that basically won her an Oscar, is the song before that. Like, the song is about a man, but before that, when they're fighting and singing that weird other song, they're, like, sing yelling.
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell her to quit because she's unprofessional. She keeps turning it around and being like, you're sleeping with my boyfriend? And I love you, don't leave me. And like, can't we just have one song about how you are unprofessional and need to leave the band? Like, I understand that what's happening to you is shitty, but from the other people's point of view, they're trying to make an argument, and it's just like, we couldn't have one fight that passes the Bechdel test.
I guess the one thing I did like is that they did manage to, I think, successfully have like a not necessarily likable character win you over. And really that's Jennifer Hudson being amazing.
I think so.
Is like she goes from unlikable and
like
then,
you can't even
builds
watch
herself
her
back up by the end, and also like she's unlikable at the beginning, but you also kind of get it. Like she's in this scenario where like everybody tells her she can't be the lead singer because she's too fat and not the prettiest one, and she has the best voice and nobody pays attention to her because of how she looks. Like I'm not like confused as to why she's
why she's
unhappy in her situation. So like I think, I don't know, basically Jennifer Hudson's amazing.
That's the moral of the story.
Okay. Should we make a pie? Okay. Let's start with matching outfits.
Oh my god.
Man, there's so many.
There's so many. Like, obviously, they're a girl group. That's the point. But it's just, like, it's a lot.
Yep. Quite a lot. I don't know. 30?
Yeah, 30 is good. This one I wrote down halfway through the movie. The word dream. Obviously, they're called the Dreams or the Dreamettes and all of that. But they have a song about dreams. Eddie Murphy has a song about dreams.
Dreamgirls. Yeah.
I think Effie has a song. Like, there's like, all they do in this movie is sing about dreams, but in different songs.
And it kind of is annoying. Like 15? Songs that sound kind of familiar, but aren't actually the song you think it is. Because, they obviously, all the songs were original for the Broadway show, and then the few more that they added for the movie. There's no actual, like...
covers
or real songs in this.
But they're definitely trying to emulate disco,
make you feel like certain songs, like the Jackson 5
and the
song
Jackson 5 song. Oh my god,
all the disco songs.
35.
35.
Yeah. Which leaves us with 20.
Yeah, that's
for good. Styles through the decades, which is it is a really good mapping of how things change, and I really enjoy that because the costumes are incredible, and I liked looking at them.
Yeah,
and I liked looking
cool
at
wigs and
Beyonce's cool hair and her crazy eyes.
And also, I guess, like, the evolution of the wigs to the afros of, like, the, black people going from wanting to, have hair like white people to having their own thing.
Hair.
And
especially Effie.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, that's an amazing pie. Lindsay, what's next for them?
I guess that's Beyonce and Jamie Lee Fox. Which I hope is nothing, but at the very end when they're doing their goodbye song, she like looks up at him and sings the part where she still loves him, and then he's like, oh, and I'm like, no, I don't like this turn of events. Just cut that scene out. Yeah. So hopefully nothing.
Yeah, I hope that they all have amazing, lovely, professional lives doing whatever they want to do. I hope Effie gets to like sing in some amazing jazz clubs and just be a badass.
Do what she wants to do.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, everybody else can do whatever they feel like. I care less. I want Effie to be happy.
Yeah, me too.
Everybody else will be fine.
Yeah.
And then, Lindsay, what's next for us?
Well, speaking of unlikable female characters, we've got a weird month coming up that is not, the theme is not unlikable female characters. The theme is female character names.
Yes.
Because we wanted to do Clueless, and we needed to figure out how. So, Clueless is on the Patreon, but first up in March is Emma 2020.
Yay!
And I'll preface all of this by saying that I don't like Emma. I haven't seen this version. I only like Clueless, so we'll see what happens. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Well,
But
we'll get into it. But yeah,
we'll get
I
into
also
it.
haven't seen it, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and like maybe it's just Gwyneth, but I also didn't really like the book. But anyway, it's fine. We'll move on. Alicia Silverstone is there for us on Patreon. And so for the rest of this oddly themed month, we will be doing Roxanne and Sabrina 1995. Maybe we'll end with that because everybody deserves to wrap up March with a swoony time.
Oh, so swoony.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. Yes. So exciting. That brings us to the end of this episode. We would love it if you could leave us a rating or a review wherever you get your podcasts. And you can always find us on social media. We're at Charts and Hearts. We're at Charts and Hearts Podcast on Instagram and Threads.
You can also head to our website, chartsandhearts.com, where you can submit your suggestions for rom-coms and tropes for us to add to the list. We would love to do another EGOT month. If you can think of 3 EGOT winner rom-com movies, let's do it. And you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/chartsandheartsclub. For EGOT month, we did the ultimate rom-com, Robin Hood Men in Tights, to celebrate the ultimate EGOT winner, Mel Brooks.
I mean, to be fair, it was more of a rom-com than this movie was.
That's not very true. There was a lot of kissing in it, and, well, attempted kissing. And we had a great time having that conversation because that movie rules.
It does. Let us know your thoughts on this movie. Have you seen the show? Should we see the show? And in the meantime, it doesn't take a whiz to know that only a desperate man would drop his pants in living color on national television. Oh, man.
Yeah.